Welcome to CrashRacer, and in this video we're going to look at the game ExoCross. So quite a few options in the game of ways to play. You can either play championship, do different challenges, quick race, time trials, and there's also some online options, but today we're going to have a look at the first championship.
So yeah, they're right. The racing hasn't been the same, but once you've experienced ExoCross, there's no turning back.
Here's all the championships then, and there's quite a few to choose from. We've only got 2 unlocked initially to start with, but yeah, there's quite a few to do. So let's start with this first one, and there's going to be, looks like there's 4 tracks that we're going to be racing on, and I think I recognise that first one. So let's get into the first race of the championship then. So yeah, this first race by the look of it is on, it's almost an oval circuit, but not really. So I've had a few goes of the game already, done some quick races, but this is first time straight into the championship. Let's see how we get on. Starting at the back to start with, 4-lap race. Ooh, a bit too much boost there, straight into the back of another car. Don't want to do too much crashing in this game because you do get damage and you can lose wheels, which we clearly don't want to do. There's a little damage indicator on the bottom left that shows what damage we've got. Oh, and that's the other thing we don't want to do too much either, is locking wheels. Obviously with these open wheel vehicles, very easy, oh nearly, yeah, very easy to get caught up with the other cars and spin. Tracks aren't overly wide, so that makes overtaking a little bit tricky. But the game itself plays beautifully from what I've seen so far. The actual handling of the cars, the sense of speed that you get. Just trying to sneak up the inside of this one if possible. Got a bit of a choice of routes there. But yeah, the racing of the cars themselves seems to work really nicely, and the graphics are super smooth as well. Just off the back of these front 3 at the moment, see if we can catch up at all. There seems to be some sort of boost system. Haven't worked everything out yet, but there's a boost also in the bottom left hand section that regenerates when you use it, and it seems to be that it regenerates a lot quicker if you can get into sort of the draft behind some other cars. Then it refills very quickly. Of course that's tough to do when you're off the back of them, but I guess that's like some sort of equalizer as well, in that means the car at the front is, I don't know if they regenerate boost at all. If they do, it'll be very slowly. We're catching up on 3rd place here, I think. So yeah, trying to use this boost wisely, and it's quite a nice boost actually, because it's not ridiculous. Obviously some games where you hit the boost, everything just goes crazy and it's uncontrollable and you go ridiculously fast, but this just gives you a little bit of a boost to help catch up with the cars in front. Hopefully if we can get in the tow, hopefully now our boost should regenerate a lot quicker. Final lap then. Can we make any more places up? I'm in close behind this car. Got plenty of boost. Obviously I don't know how much they've got. Can sneak up the inside. Yeah, up into 3rd place then for now. But yeah, this mechanism of drafting and the boost and everything normally makes for pretty good races, in that even if you're at the back or off the pace, you can normally have a chance maybe of catching up. But it's not ridiculous. It's not as if you're at the back, you're suddenly going to keep shooting to the front. 3rd place finish then in our first race of this championship. Not a bad start. 42.5 second best lap. Let's see how that checks out with some of the other cars. Seem to just about be hanging pace. Yeah, similar lap times to those first 2 cars, but we couldn't really close up on them. 16 points then for that first race for ourselves, which puts us of course in 3rd place for the overall leaderboard to start with. Okay, let's move on to the second race then. This looks like a bit more of a tricky course. Again, I've not played much at all, but from what I've seen there's quite a variety of tracks and circuits and directions to race on. Good signposting, as you can see on the right there, to warn you about corners and how tight the corner might be, and also the boundaries of the track I think are quite good. Sometimes in these off-road races it can be, you can totally lose where you are and not even realise where the track is, but yeah, in general from what I've seen so far there's no problem with that here. You always know where the track is, and you've got some guides on the outside to show you normally where the corners are. Getting bogged down here, right behind these other cars. Very thin track again, so not much room to move. Let's get past if we can. Yeah, that's one of the things though that I think might be missing that they could do with, unless I haven't seen it yet. I'll show you maybe in another video, but there's loads of options with this game. Changes that you can make of what you have displayed on the screen and what you don't. Changes to the car, the look and feel of the car, how it handles and everything. So yeah, we'll take a look at that in the future. But as yet I haven't seen an option to have some sort of map on the screen, which would be handy when you've not raced on these tracks before. Must admit, I do quite like these lights that seem to be on the inside and outside of the corners. That does give you a good guide. I don't know if they're on all the tracks. Certainly the couple that I've played, they seem to be, all through the tyres there. That wasn't a good idea. That slowed us down. Up into third place then. A little bit of a gap behind us now, but some work to do to catch up these other two. Still on the first lap at the moment. This is a longer track by the look of it, this one, but then it's only 2 laps, so is this the end of the first lap? Yes it is. On to the final lap then, and we're closing in on second place. First place is just ahead as well. Got to be very careful with the steering again. Haven't looked at all the steering options and settings and maybe how you can adjust those, but certainly when I first started playing it, you have to be very delicate with the steering. You're not moving your analog stick full to the right and full to the left of these turners. It's just the slightest little touches, which at the start makes it very tricky, and I was weaving the car all over the track. But once you get used to it, it does make it does drive really well, and it doesn't take much getting used to. We're closing up on the lead here, but we've shot a little bit wide. Need to get back on the track. Can we close in on this one? Third place still fairly close behind. Got some embankment here as well, which again, once we get used to the tracks, I'm guessing we can make really good use of those by running slightly wider on those corners and then slingshotting off those embankments. Into the lead if we can hold it. Again, it works both ways now that now we're in the lead. There's not an enormous width of track for the other cars behind to overtake. Must be getting close to the end of this lap in the race, I would have thought. Yes, I've not driven this track at all, but oh, there we go, first place over the finish. Yeah, not driven that track at all, but yeah, it was still fairly easy to follow the track without getting lost or not being able to see where the track was going. What's that done for the championship? Right, that's put us up into first place then in the championship. Let's see if we can hold on to this. Okay, on to the third of the 4 races then. See how we do with this one. Again, another 2-lap race, so maybe a slightly longer lap. So, again, as I mentioned, I haven't checked all the settings, but again, another minor quibble is some of the leaderboards, and as you can see there's a little leaderboard sort of on the screen that shows the positions and your times and how far behind you are the other cars, which is excellent, but the colours of that and the size, for me, that's impossible to read. It needs to be slightly bigger, but I think more than that it's the colour as well. Even the lap 1 of 2 up in the left hand, it's that light grey that they're using on quite a lot of the leaderboards as well, which I find it's very hard to read. So hopefully they might make some changes to that, and like I say, a map would be useful as well. Up into 4th place now then, ahead of this pack at the back. Can we catch up with these lead 3 cars though? There's a handbrake option as well as the normal accelerator and brake, and although I'm trying not to, it does look like you can drift these cars as well, which might be quicker once you get used to that car up the inside here. Can we hold it behind? Yeah, it's quite nice of course drifting on some of these dirt tracks. At the moment I've only really done it, whoa, been spun. Can we turn and reverse back in front of that car? Yep, using the old Wreckfest tactics there, where if you get spun then stick it in reverse and reverse in front of the car that's spinning you around and spin yourself forwards again. Can nick that place straight back, and we're up into 6th now then, so we lost a few places. Nice little bridge section there with a middle part, so you've got to make your mind up early which side you're going, and yeah, 3 wide into something like that is not going to end well. We've got a really good run here if we can just drift it wide and overtake on the outside, trying to hold our position. Up into 5th then. Yeah, I really like the graphics of this game as well. I think the graphics of the car and the surroundings are really good, but I think it's quite clever because they've put a lot of attention on the track, the car and the immediate surroundings, but then there's above that the sky, and further beyond that there's not that much, which I think is what makes the performance of this game so good. So a 5th place for us in that one then. Pretty good lap time though, maybe only half a second or so. Oh, there was one car that was really quick, but we were pretty competitive with the rest of the AI. That's dropped us down into 2nd place now in the championship, 4 points off the lead as we go into the final race. So we need a good result in this one, I would have thought, to have any chance of winning the championship. Starting off by going over this iron bridge. Again, not played this track before, so gonna have to try and keep track and pace with the other cars. Oh, that's a nice little section, but I bet that's a tricky one. The track just sort of bends left then right and drops away as it comes down into that bridge section. Up around the outside here, and we push through now. The lead 2 now have gone side by side, which has blocked the road, but we've slotted in behind them into 3rd place. Can we sneak up the inside? Damn, just caught the wheels of that 2nd place car. Was hoping just to slide up the inside, didn't quite make it. We can now though. Ooh, we're over the inside embankment, but yeah, we can push our way round without getting the wheels interlocked, and we're up into a lead. Right, driving blind now, so let's see how good these track designs and boundaries are. So yeah, sign on the right here that suggests that this is quite a tight corner, and now a tight right as well. Yeah, again we've got the lines on the outside to clearly show where the track's going. It is nice the way that it does that, and as yet, probably speak too soon. Well, yeah, as yet I've not really got lost. Obviously didn't know how that corner was going to go, and the embankment saved me. But yeah, I have played off-road type games before where sometimes you just totally lose where you're going. You're not sure where the track is, and before you know it you're off. Right, oh, this is that tricky section, isn't it? Damn, and I've hit the barriers on both sides. Fortunately we've not hit the bridge at least, and we've got a good lead actually. Is this the first race we've had a really good lead? I think it might be. I mean, I'm taking this quite tentatively, whereas the first circuit, that oval type one, I'm used to that because I've had a few goes on the quick race option, and so I would have thought I was driving quite quickly on that, and yet I was having a lot more trouble keeping up with the AI on that track. I guess a track like this is more tricky for the AI as well, and they might get tangled up with themselves. Just got to try and keep it together then for the end of this lap, see if we can get a win. I'm trying to remember, there was that final little tricky section at the end, wasn't it, where it went sort of was it a left, right, and then into the embankment. Is this it? No, we've still got that to come. Yeah, this was it there. Yeah, if you cut in too early there, then you hit the inside corner. But I think the finish was just down here, wasn't it? Over the bridge. Yeah, here we go. Through we come then for a win in the final race. Is that going to be enough points to win this championship? I think it's 25 points for a win, and I was 4 points behind, so it might be, depending on who finished second. Yeah, so win for ourselves, 25 points. Yeah, pretty competitive, very close lap times actually with the others, and that was enough to get the win in this first championship. So at the moment I'm really enjoying this game, so if that continues there'll be more videos like this. Hopefully we'll get a chance to have a look at the settings in a bit more detail and what you can do in the garage section. Take a look at some of the other racing options, the time trials, and there was a challenge section as well, I think, see what that involves. And of course we'll have a look at the online offering as well, see how well that's supported and how good the racing is. But for now, see you soon.